From an early age, Dr. Mark Christian emulated his father, a well-known religious leader and devout Muslim. Following in his footsteps, Mark devoted his life to Allah by studying the Quran and teaching in the mosques. However, after years of being immersed in this belief system, Mark did what was forbidden. He began to question the foundation of his religion, igniting hatred from his father and family. In his book, The Apostate, Mark shares how his quest for answers led him to discover the truth and walk away from Islam.
Please welcome to the 700 Club, Mark Christian. Mark, welcome. It's good to have you with us today.
Thank you very much for having me. It's an honor to be with you today.
Will you talk a little bit go back to the beginning for you as a 5-year-old. Your mother did something pretty basic. She took you to a movie. Lots of moms would probably do that. Your dad was a very devout Islamic follower. Your mom was Islamic, but maybe not quite as strict. But what happened to you after you saw that movie?
Yeah, my father still is a religious leader in the Middle East, in Egypt, and across the board. You know, I mentioned the story, and it is very significant because this is the day where I really met Allah in full force. When I went to watch a movie, and as you said, you know, it was not a choice for me, but when I accompanied my mother as a 5 years old to watch a movie, and any kind of entertainment is forbidden in Islam. People in the West and in the Christian church do not recognize or understand that, but this is a fact. And this is a common, knowledge, and Muslims talk about that all the time, and they do it. They watch movies and do music and do movies, and they know when they do that are sinners. So as a 5 years old, I was not aware of all the concepts. And when I watched the movie, to be quite honest, I was sleeping in most of the movie as a 5 years old. It was very boring, except a couple of car chases that was taking place. When I got back home, I was punished in a very hard way, to say the least. And I mentioned that in details. And the ritual of actually punishing me, and I explained, what my father exactly did, and so forth. And I was not mad at my father. This is just a very interesting thing. I was not mad with all the stuff that happened to me or became resentful. I actually, that punishment, that incident opened my eyes to my status as a slave to Allah, and what I'm supposed to do exactly in that status, and how my life should be, and what I need to do to avoid Allah's wrath, and to be also changing my life so I can be a good slave to Allah as my master. And that really was a day that introduced me to Allah, introduced me to Islam, and started the trajectory in my life that followed for years after that.
Mark, it was real. I found that so remarkable that it didn't make you angry with your father. It actually kind of reinforced your desire to please him by not doing anything that would cause him to react like that. So having been raised in such a strict Islamic environment, when did you begin to doubt Islam?
Well, you know, I just want to highlight something. I was not mad at my dad, not because of his actions. Actually, I saw my dad doing his duty as a good and true Muslim, and I was not mad as well because I was fascinated by who is my creator. And I thought in my heart and mind, even at a very young age, that if Allah is ordaining my father to do so he's just doing this an act of obedience. And my father made it clear through scripture at that young age to explain to me that concept. So I was accepting and not angry, just because I thought this is my place, this is my duty, I'm just a slave, I need to do whatever it takes to please Allah. And if I got angry even, I will be spending eternity in hell, and I will be punished dearly by things that Allah can do to me on earth and then in the afterlife. So that was the reason for me not to be angry, and my dad explained that concept very well.
Let me jump ahead in your life, if I can, to your dad's disappointment and anger over the years as you began to question the faith that you were raised with. Your faith really alienated you from your family. At one point, your dad even tried to kill you with a bomb. What was that about?
Well, that's about exactly the same concept that started when I was 5 years old. So when I was, God ordained in my life that I would have a gap year, between my pre-med and starting medical school. And when I was, on thinking about what can I use for that year, I dedicated that year to establish myself in a strong foundation of Islamic teaching, history, theology, and so forth. And my intention was to be a stronger and better Islamic imam and Islamic preacher that would reach out to Christians and Jews with the truth of Islam, and I would convert everybody to Islam because of the truth of Islam. When I found out that I was actually believing in a lie, and I explained exactly why. I'm not saying that statement lightly or saying it, just to instigate any kind of hatred or emotions. I'm saying it, and I'm backing it up in the book in details about why did I come to the point that Islam is a lie. And even when I found that out, I was actually confused. I wanted that lie not to be the lie it is. I wanted it to be the truth. So when I went to my father for the first time to ask for his help, as I always have been doing, and to discuss things, this is when things went upside down and started kind of, a long journey of ups and downs in life, mostly downs, and lots of physical and other abuses and other things that took place in my life. And all what I wanted is answer some questions. And the top of everything was actually March 29, 2003. This is when I was received a phone call to go to meet my father, and instead of going in to find reconciliation like I was hoping and praying for, I found a booby trap that was supposed to take my life. But the grace of God, I was saved, and I am here today as a testament that we cannot add a second to our life or take away a second of our life. So I am blessed and will continue doing what I'm doing.
Mark, your book is so interesting, and you have so many layers of how God has moved in your life, and we can't possibly touch them all, but I don't want to leave today because we're out of time without asking you what the most important message of your book is, because you came to Christ. What do you want readers to hear and to read as they look at the book, The Apostate?
Follow the direction of Jesus when he said, go make disciples of all nations. And when I see churches today in the United States are confused about how to reach out to Muslims and also those who are on mission and so forth, this is a book that I made myself extremely vulnerable to explain every detail about my life so people can understand how Muslim life looks like, what are the concepts of Islam, and how to be able to reach out if they want to in a better way. And I would love actually as well for churches to stand up for their faith and never give up Jesus.
Well, your book will help them understand the process and what goes on in the mind of people who are raised in Islam. Mark's book is called The Apostate, My Search for Truth, available wherever books are sold. Thank you, Mark.